Hello and welcome to session 3 of our Godbound series. Godbound is a game from Kevin Crawford. There's the big book. It is one of Kevin Crawford's sort of old school designs, but in this our characters are budding gods, a little more powerful than other people with words that they have at their dominion. Our crew here has arrived at a city that they are trying to figure out how to handle right now. They have a young woman that they're trying to rescue. At the same time, they're trying to deal with this figure, Abdurrahim, who is possessing certain powers. It might be a godbound like them, or might be something else. And he seems to have powers that revolve around command, that revolve around roses, and maybe some other things. We don't know. All we know is that Ransom's bird friend got a look at him, but beyond that, we're not entirely sure. So we're going to go across the character keeper here. Let us start with Threadless.
That makes no sense, but certainly I will do that. Hi, my name is Sherry. I use she, her pronouns. I am playing Threadless, the loom builder. They use they, her pronouns. Threadless, I was raised in a community of exiled, I guess, wives of conscripted soldiers who had been sort of pushed off to this island to starve. And she was the last born from, that time when they were first exiled. And so they invested a lot of ritual power in her as a hoping that this would somehow help preserve them. And it did. And so Threadless has the words of artifice, which means that she is good at building things, like very, very good, of bow and of fertility. And she is in particular good at building things, but even better at breaking things. And most of her fertility prowess comes out in the ability to heal some, and she's pretty bad with a bow. So that's pretty much it. She would like to strike down kings because they are what caused the misfortune of her mothers. And she knows that inherently there is something wrong with that particular power structure.
Okay. That brings us then to our fine professor, Professor Ivedro.
Hello, my name is Dan. My pronouns are he, him. I'm playing Professor Ivedro, sometimes known as Ordevi. Professor Ivedro is the embodiment of the god of enlightenment, and is pretty arrogant about it, at least in the light of day. At night, his personality and demeanor and appearance change to the more humble, the more warm, shall we say, Ordevi. And he is still a little bitter about being kicked out of the professor. He was the youngest professor at the University of Jezi Din Rajlaj. And he was kicked out because he consistently got very poor student reviews.
Excellent. And that brings us to our captain.
Hi there, I'm Tyler. You see him pronouns, and I am playing Ransom, the raptor of the waves, and I am a god of the sea and of mariners. I am an explorer. I like the idea of going across and finding new places, discovering their secrets, the freedom of the seas, and I suppose it would be best for me not to let Threadless know that I sometimes have the ambition of being the Pirate King.
maybe the whole being a pirate and a king that negates to create a sort of a zero sum. Maybe. By the way, Tyler, just for your benefit, I did back Cursed Captains of Cthulhu, the Pirates versus Cthulhu game. So it was the dumbest thing, but I thought of you and I backed that. Which brings us to Tassos.
Hi, I'm Patrick, he, him pronouns. I'm playing Tassos, they, them. And Tassos is a sort of dream or nightmare godling, an embodiment of fear, something like that, sent to wander and work his way through the world and people's last nerves generally. They're going through all of this, trying to track down this girl, because this Abdrulheem has collected pretty shiny magic things, and that might be interesting. But mostly the boy that's back on the ship and won't say anything except mournful wailing is insisting that he gets his sister back before he'll, say something more interesting about the horrifying nightmares that live inside his brain.
Yes, it's a practical decision on your part. So before we get too much further, my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and I am the GM, and this game is part of the Gauntlet Gaming Community. You can find out more about that at gauntlet-rpg.com. We have a set of safety tools. We're using lines and veils, X-card, and some other things. The players are familiar with those, so I won't go into that too much right now. They are in the city of East, Lansena. There are two parts, East and West, and these are cities that are kind of divided, but you're in the eastern half. Which is apparently where Abdrulheim has set up at least one of his temples here. It is a city with interesting sort of circular spiral areas to it, mosaics on the walls that seem to indicate directions for those who know how to do it, a motif of dolphins throughout that has been overwritten in a lot of places, and an active cafe culture. We talked about that, and a big hole in the prison where the players dismantled the walls of a cell and broke out a scholar by the name of Tintefa to find out more information. And Tintefa, as a local of the city, was able to provide you with some contacts and get you to a place of relative safety. So the question is now, with the four of you talking, how is it? Yes, I was going to do air quotes for scholar, but I figured if Edro would say something, so I wouldn't need to do the air quotes. So.
I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yes. So the question is now, we've had a chance to rest. Everybody's effort is back. All of those things are said. All that stuff is reset. So the question is, how do you wish to proceed? You've got a couple of options, certainly direct. There was talked about that going in directly. There's talk about capture. There's talk about drawing him out. There was talk about seeing what his hold is on the kings. There were a lot of different things that were out there, but I definitely heard split up and let them capture one of us. That I certainly heard that as one of the things that was presented. I just want to bring us back to that suggestion, that remind you that was on the table.
I mean, I'd make a very good haunted nightmare child, just so easy to pick up off the streets.
Are you
So,
magical of the sort that he pays attention to?
We could maybe come up with something to dim me down to the level that he's looking for.
If this is what you want to do, far be it for me to stand in your way. If there is means for you to communicate back out, I could try to rescue you as the need arises. But I do agree, we need to find out as soon as possible what is going on with our little friend's sister. It is entirely possible that her time is limited.
So Tassos, this shape-shifting into this form is no problem. The question of dimming your abilities maybe a little bit more. Does that seem like maybe a miracle you want to do I mean, certainly you have night as one of your words, and you could use that as a miracle to cloak that.
So I was sort of thinking about trying to hide the radiance in a bit of the night
Sure.
power there.
So to do a miracle like that, unless you already have something,
I don't.
yeah, then it takes you to commit effort for the day. And it is done. Tell me what that looks like. What do we see on screen when you make this change?
I think he thinks for a moment, and I think they decide that they like that boy that they were running around the streets earlier, and you know, they're someone local, so it shouldn't be, even with locals picking them up, they should recognize them and
Yeah.
be good with that. And I think there's just sort of this rippling around the edges of his form, and there's a sort of like water splashing noise as they contract and draw down in on themselves. And where Tassos is fairly like shadowed and occluded and dark most of the time, this boy has like bright healthy skin tone, colorful eyes and clothes and stuff, and looks up and smiles and sort of proudly puts his hands on his hips.
And I think when you use Threadless's device, then you will see that night power has dimmed that radiance. And so you can head out into the city. Tell me, when Tassos goes to do this thing, to be captured and taken to the tower, what are the other three of you going to be doing? Are you shadowing them, or are you positioning yourself at the tower? How do you want to do this? Ransom?
Yeah, I'll look to see what everybody else is thinking, but I will say to you, Tassos, before you head out, I can have Captain Cookie stay with you. He tends to be a little more single-minded or dedicated than many of the other birds. He would find me, but I do worry that you know, when you're captured, they may try to put him in a cage. Would you like him to accompany you?
How big is Captain Cookie?
He's a parrot.
Something smaller would be easier to hide, but if it's stupider, that may not help as much.
Cookie would be better at finding me than just a random bird, I fear.
Oh, we'll figure it out. It's a bird. They can't be too scared of a bird, right?
So the street urchin with a parrot on his shoulder. What is your parrot's distinguishing feature? Is it a peg leg? Is it a different color of feathers? Is it an eye patch? What is it?
Well, I have a little picture of him there.
That's right.
He has a lovely pirate hat.
Okay. Do you leave the jaunty pirate hat on him when he goes?
I'm going to suggest taking it off if he doesn't overly mind. I will try to convince him.
Only for you.
Thank you.
Only for you. Only for you.
Thank you, Cookie.
The more he's around Tassos, the more he says ominous things like that, though.
Nevermore.
Only for you. One of us.
And I have a feeling that Cookie is actually older than me. He's, you know, I've had him since I was teeny tiny, and parrots live forever.
Do they?
Yeah, they live 70, 80 years.
Oof. I'm not a fan of birds as pets, but that's
me.
Yeah. Professor Vedro, what is it that you want to do? Ransom is got this bird that he is setting up and is going to perch himself somewhere nearby. What's your plan, Professor?
I feel like I want to start to undermine. I was going to get this guy's name right today. Abdralhim's power from the outside.
Ooh.
And
Did you say breaking things?
I part of me, I think the professor is like, I want to see how much Threadless can do. And there's sort of like this, he's got this kind of inherent clinical curiosity about how much breaking of machinery can be done. So I was going to invite Threadless to go break things with me.
Are you planning on breaking the walls? Are you going to try to find one of these magical engines that Abdralhim repaired?
Only magical engines. Yeah,
Okay.
things that would clearly be tied to Abdralhim's power.
Okay.
Such that as they start to break, either it will draw him out or people will start to get suspicious of just how powerful he is.
Okay. So let's do those kind of two scenes in parallel then.
If that's okay with Sherry, that's all right with you. Okay.
100% for it.
Okay.
So we'll come to a
Draw one of
veteran.
those diagrams. I like those diagrams.
We'll come to Evedro and Threadless, but let's start with Tassos and Ransom. You will head there. Ransom, you're keeping yourself back a ways, away from these wards that you've encountered. And Tassos, you are presenting yourself as an urchin with some power that they will note and we'll scoop you up. Am I correct on that?
Yes, I'm going to start by wandering around the areas around that central place where the Hesiarchs hang out and talking and having fairly loud and open conversations with Cookie. And just, hanging around any Hesiarchs that I see, trying to get them to look at me. If things get dire, I can get more obvious than that. But that's sort of where we're starting. Having conversations with the bird.
We've established that the Hesiarchs are out and around. They have no reason to suspect you because your appearance is completely different. And, you are able to take on the absolute appearance of a wandering child. And Ransom, from where you're sat, you will see these Heliarchs come over, and one of them says to Tassos, "What is your name, young man?"
I'm Billy. I'm 8. This is Cookie. His name's Cookie. Doesn't like it when you call him other things. Gets very angry. See, try calling him Fred.
You are to come with us.
But I have to get back for lunch. So will we be done by lunch?
And I don't think they even go to we're going to gently try to persuade, chide the child. Essentially, they put hands on your shoulders and arms. And you will notice people who are around who see this turn the other way and start moving away as they go to drag you up to the tower.
Oh no, please don't take me in the tower. What are you doing? I have no way to stop you. I'm in fact powerless in your grip, and I'm sort of scared because I'm just a child and my underdeveloped brain doesn't understand the correct response to situations.
They will drag you up to the tower, to that arch, and they will head on in with the squawking Cookie protesting as this is going on. He's probably making the more realistic of the protestations in some ways. Ransom, they
He has a
vanish.
foul mouth.
Yes, they vanish in there as this cursing parrot starts making their ears burn, and they're just going to go on in there, and you're going to be out here.
I will. Let's see. I've seen the tower. I've cased this tower before.
Yes, you have.
So I'm going to. I think it's probably wise for me to duck down an alley and transform and get a higher view so that I can swoop in as I may need to.
Absolutely.
But I will not go to where I know the barrier is. I will light and fly, just kind of keeping the perimeter.
So we'll see you swap your bird form, a light off into the air, land on the dome of a nearby tower. Again, those sort of red ruby buildings and those windows that are somewhat opaque, and you're kind of waiting to see what you will hear. Now, do you have some kind of mind link with Cookie, or what goes on with that?
I do not. It would be, I have the ability if I need to do that, but at the moment I don't. If it becomes a problem, I could.
In order for Cookie to say raise a hue and a cry for you, Cookie would have to fly out of that building over to where you're at.
Yeah, or I could wait a little bit and see what's going on. It's just, I figure doing it immediately would cause more problems than not.
We will see, won't we?
Yeah.
Tassos, you are brought in. You are taken up to, not all the way up to where Ransom described the doors that have the rose thorns around them and the brambles, but to another sort of offset room here, where you are sat down. Then a couple of guards are there, and they don't really say anything to you, but a couple of minutes later, people come in with these trays that are heaping with food, like meats that have been smoked and eggs and fruits and all kinds of things, and they're just kind of stacked out on the table there in front of you for you to eat. One of the people says, go ahead. Or are you not hungry, young man?
Well, no, I mean, it's not lunchtime till later.
It is up to you. We will leave these here.
Did I do something wrong?
Not yet. Does your bird require sustenance? There are fruits and nuts there for it.
Oh, he does like grapes.
Then please, help yourself.
I'll like pick up the tray and move to a different part of the room. Does he stay there?
He got to kind of pick up the tray and like try to like stand. He said, no. Sit at the table.
I'll sit down, and so I think Tassos will sit down with Billy there. Sit down and pick up some of the fruit, and he'll do a very like sniff it like he's suspicious or he doesn't quite recognize it. And then he'll move up to put it in his mouth, and as he goes to put it in his mouth, That's when their arm is going to turn liquid, and still look the same, but the food is just going to like fall straight down through it into their lap.
Absolutely. Sleight of hand, magic, any of these ways, you can easily make it look like you are consuming the food, but not consuming it. You will hear a from your shoulder.
What? No, Cookie. No, you know that Mom said that you're on a diet. You don't get fed any nuts until later on today.
Now, you are not a Lord of Birds. So what do you think is the appropriate test to keep this parrot from just diving and devouring any of these delicious things that are on the table? Charisma? Intelligence?
I could try charisma.
Yeah. Roll a d20. You want an 11 or better.
Those things. That's a 16.
Yeah, you give Cookie the eye, and Cookie does kind of shake his plumage and settle back into place. Meanwhile, Professor Thedros, you would have asked around, and certainly your I don't want to say colleague, more your adjunct Tintefa, or even TA, would have told you that one of the sites that is near the palace is one of the old machines from before the Sundering, and that Abdralhim went there and repaired it. And he's not sure exactly what that machine does. The king seemed to know what it does, but he is uncertain. There are guards there. And when you go near, you can certainly feel the thrum of power. And as the two of you kind of wandering through the crowd, make your way there, you will definitely get that feeling, like you can feel in operation some kind of machine, some kind of magical engine. There's a little bit of a vibration in the ground, like maybe a little bit of a warping in the air around this kind of rotunda, like a circular building with a small dome on it.
Did Deborah come with us?
If you wanted him to come with you, he would have gotten a hood and a simple disguise and followed along behind you.
Yes, I also will be wearing that. I think only Professor Evedra is the one that understands how to actually navigate these streets in his own persona. So.
Yes. I would like Tintefa to come with us because I would like him to witness what competent people look like when they're working. I just feel like it would be a really good lesson for him. And I need the foil, honestly.
He says, yes, I would like to come either way. If you succeed, it will be interesting to watch. If you fail, I will have a wonderful story for later.
I will never let you forget. Yes.
Yeah, so he is there behind you. He's like, that's the building. It is guarded by the Royal Guard there.
All right.
I guess, what is it doing, Lowell?
Do you have an ability that allows you to sense what that is?
Not particularly, though I could, like, let's say, repair it. Or, so I guess there must be some way that I can understand what it is, since it is, in fact, a machine. Let's see here. Do you have
I
one
could, if you're open to it, Sherry, I have something called Disclose the Flaw.
Yeah.
It generally works with creatures or institutions. So, Lowell, how do you feel about me using disclose the flaw in this way.
Targeted institutions. I think that that is a more scholarly thing. And if this were like a bureaucracy
I see.
or people working it, I would think that would work. But what you've got is you could, I mean, you know how to, with your have various abilities to get past the guards, certainly. But the machine itself is kind of in a different sphere.
Makes sense.
Sort of faultless repair, which suggests that I would know how to fix it if it were broken. Since it is not broken, though, it suggests that I have some sense of ability to understand what a thing is doing. So, do I have to use a miracle?
I
Is this how
think
do it?
to figure out what this thing is, you either need to get up inside the building and have a chance to like rummage around in it, or from outside you could do a miracle here, and it would be able to determine the exact function of this thing.
All right, I think then I will do the miracle because I haven't done one yet. So
Yeah.
tell me how you do the miracle again.
Basically, you commit effort for the day, and you get to define a thing that you want to do. Essentially, in this case, to overcome an obstacle or find out information about this.
Okay. So, and this is a new day, right?
This is a new day. Yeah, so you're back at full effort.
All right, sure. I will use one of my efforts on that. I'm sure I will regret that, but that's what I'm going to do.
So this is the machine that's holding the sea serpent in the strait in check right now. It was asleep, but apparently something awoke it, probably the activating of this machine, and then the machine was used to put it into a holding slumber.
Huh. So it's sort of its own, it recreated its own necessity.
Somebody messed with this machine, probably woke up a thing that had been asleep from the time of the shattering, and then was able to fait accompli, show the kings that they have the sea serpent in check, but that the sea serpent can be roused and controlled via this device.
What is the mechanism of its control?
What does that mean? What does it mean by that question?
So let's say that the control, the ability to control it, rests with some controls within the machine right here, right? Something that it does?
It connects up to objects. You can tell that. It's likely that both kings have some sort of divine object that can be used to control it. But I think you can tell that they both have ones of equal weight, but that there is a third one that can probably overrule those two, that is probably held by Abdralhim.
So there's some balance between these three, let's say artifacts for no practical purposes.
Sure. Say artifacts.
Yes. So, and in that purpose, they have a weight of a certain kind, correct?
Okay. I like where we're going with this. Go on.
Yes. So if I were in fact to replace the connection of the controls to different weights of the same kind, would the mechanism of control be, how should we say, transferred to whomever possesses those objects?
There's only one way to find out.
All right. This sounds like the thing to do. And so I turned to Professor Vedro and I said, yep, here's what's going on. All I need is a certain amount of, let's say, divine or magical power, something that exists in a place or in a thing. And I could transfer it over and then we would have control.
You will need to get to the machine itself to operate on the machine itself.
Sure. That will take mere moments.
I am the god of journeying, please. So I took my last gift,
Okay.
and I wonder if this might help us find such artifact. It is a knowledge gift called the Unveiled Truth. And I
Okay.
can commit effort for the scene and get an answer to any question, provided the truth about it is not being intentionally concealed by all who know it. So I guess what I'm going to ask is, where is the nearest magical artifact that we can transfer stuff to, transfer the connection to?
I think you'll get this weird ping in your head and a vision of a layer, and you know the direction and distance, and there is you know when you see it, and you know that there is a place in the city where there is someone who has an artifact, and particularly looking for one that is like unbound, that is not bound to someone that is so yeah, you get that that way.
I say to Threadless, do follow me.
All right.
And I say to Tempa, I don't care what you do. And then we head in that direction.
Excellent. The door opens again, Tassos, and you will see this figure come in. He is as described, and he comes and walks over to the table, and he says, Billy, was it?
This is Abdrohim.
Yes.
You have a snake on your face. I don't want to alarm you, and I don't know if anyone's told you, but are you aware that you have a snake on your face?
Yes. It's merely decorative. It serves no other purpose.
Okay, so you're not worried about it biting you?
Heavens, no, I'm not worried about it biting me.
And you're not worried about your future job prospects? Because my mom always told me face tattoos means you can't get a good job when you grow up.
Your mother sounds like a wise woman.
Just out of curiosity, what's he afraid of?
Well, now, there's an interesting thing, sir. Let's see.
See, know the fear is I can study a visible target and learn any fears they have that are relevant to the Godbound's interests. Learning enough context for the source of the fears to make sense.
Interesting. I'm going to give him a save. You reach out to do that, and you kind of brush against the edge of his power there, and kind of washes past in such a way that you don't even think he notices you do that or have a sense of that shift there, but it kind of washes off of him. He's not a Godbound, he's something else. Not like your friends. He has an array of powers, but he's not human anymore.
Is it a prison tattoo? Sally's dad went to prison and he came back and he had tattoos on his face. So is it from a time in prison? Did you do something bad?
No. I think you could say, and he'll lift up his arm and he pulls down his sleeve, and you'll see that he's got tattoos of roses and thorns, and you see them kind of shift back and forth on his arm. He says, I think you could say that's more of a prison tattoo.
Oh, is this turning into you getting naked thing? I don't like that.
No.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna put Cookie briefly outside of the room because he's very young and impressionable, or maybe old. I didn't quite get the story, but he doesn't need to be exposed to this.
You see him pause and he goes, you're very strange for an 8-year-old.
I've been told that a lot.
And so he's like, yes, go ahead. Send your bird off. I like birds.
Okay, so is it a cult thing? Ooh, or child labor? Is it a sweatshop thing?
No. So are you putting Cookie out? Are you sending Cookie off?
Yes.
Okay.
Try give him a little shove, like, go fly,
Okay.
do your thing, bird. It's now time to do your thing.
And he turns and he says, no, it is not a cult thing. No, it's just that I'm very, very hungry.
Oh, well, I have some fruit left over if you wanted some.
No.
Okay, well, I'm trying to be a very, here for you sort of person, but you're making it very difficult right now.
You see him stop
forward.
and he goes, that kind of brings him up short. He's like, what is wrong with you, child?
But look, you're obviously building towards some sort of, I don't know, climax, perhaps a set change piece, or is there a monologue that you've worked up?
You begin to worry at me. I think we'll just move to the second part. And you see his mouth start to open. And it keeps opening. And you realize the other word that he has control over is hunger and consumption. And as he starts to open his mouth, people in the room turn away, and the table starts to vibrate. Let me come back to Ransom.
What's happened?
No fruit, no seeds for me.
Cookie, concentrate. Did he get into a cell? Is he all right?
No prison tattoo.
No prison tattoo. If he released you, something is up. He probably needs me. Perhaps he's found the girl and I have to get them out. All right, Cookie, let's go it. Show me where he is.
And how do you propose to do this, Ransom?
Okay. I think I want to do. There's something cooler I kind of want to do.
Sure.
Than just the set. So I'm going to. I tell Cookie, fly back, and I'm going to go ahead and share the senses with him as he flies in.
Okay. Sure.
And have him fly back to the cell.
All right. We'll come back to that in just a moment. Professor Vedro and Threadless, you will find yourselves walking down these steps into what is very clearly a black market section of town. That kind of old, dangerous place thieves and brigands, hive of scum and villainy, all of that there as you walk down into kind of these under places here. And you'll make your way to this shop. And you will see there is a big, burly, murderous, barbarian-looking fellow at the counter of the shop who looks up at the two of you and kind of looks past to see the scholar cowering behind the two of you and says, "Can I help you?"
I think so. And I'll turn to Professor Vedra. Do you know where it is?
What is it that you see? What is the thing that in your mind is glowing here as a relic that you can use?
Are you asking me?
Yeah. What do you think, Professor Vedra?
I think this is a shop that sells narcotics paraphernalia. If that is okay. I don't know.
Absolutely. Tobacco, Black Lotus, the finest quality, Stygian, all of the good stuff in there, and various
Oh, all the
pipes
bad
and
stuff.
pipes and hookahs and black tar and all of
Yes,
those things.
And I think there is an unremarkable hookah in the corner that maybe you forgot about, that no one wants to buy. And I know that this is the thing that has been imbued with some kind of magical power / device.
So what can Philpott do for you?
We need a hookah. We just don't need a very fancy one.
We have many hookahs. He gestures over to the wall. Take your pick there. Good fittings, nice clay pots. You want broad, small. I've got calipers as well.
Calipers. Can I see your calipers?
See,
Professor
ignore-
Vedra pick up.
You point over to that hookah and he looks at you and he goes, you don't want that one.
I think we do.
I have. And he stops and he goes, yes, that is what I was about to say.
Excellent. She turns even better. It's a gift for someone we don't like.
No, I don't understand. I have to give the full spiel before I can pass this hookah off.
Okay.
Know, Lo, that this hookah is a hookah of doom. And that you must accept it knowingly and without reservation from me if you wish to take it. And know that if I give you this hookah, then it is a doom that I give to you and not a gift.
Someone give this doom to you? That's
This
the
is a
story
long
I want to
story
hear.
I do not wish to go into.
But that's the story I want to hear.
Poor choices.
Threadless, we're on a clock, I
Oh,
think.
can I come back and ask afterwards?
100%. I am with you. I'm interested. I want to, you know what? I got a good idea. Let's leave Tintefa here and have him write down the story. And then he can join us later. I'm sure he can find his way back. He lives in the city, so he must know his way around these parts.
And you probably don't want to go where the doom hookah is going, right?
I'm fine with not going where the doom hookah is. Yes. And he says,
This is the
so
most
you
exciting thing.
accept the terms of this?
Yes, I do.
I wasn't listening. Can we just have the hookah now?
He turns and he looks, so you accept this fully and knowingly of the doom that will befall you?
I was kicked out of university. There's no doom.
I wasn't talking to you. You already said you weren't listening. I was talking to the girl.
Yes. I'm looking forward to this doom.
Then let this hookah be upon your head.
Oh,
And he
wait,
will.
I don't have to wear it, do I?
That's not the curse.
That would be terrible.
And he will lift it up and he will put the hookah out in front of you.
So does like the charcoal keep going out? Is that what happens with it?
No.
Okay.
There is no charge. The hookah is yours.
I knew that. I'm a little worried about this curse coming down threadless.
Yeah.
I feel like threadless already has sort of a lot of baggage that they're dealing with.
What?
I don't know. You got this vindictive thing going on, and I just feel like that's a lot of responsibility.
Mhm.
I'm happy to be cursed because it doesn't even occur to me that this is a problem. But what would you like to take it? I assume whoever takes it is cursed. Is that fair to say?
If that's true, then I'm the one that is cursed. And if you really want it, I will give you the curse. But we can just pass it back and forth. Look at happens.
You'll pick it up. It's dirty. It's been allowed to sit and gather dust, but it is clearly a beautiful object.
Excellent. It's what I need.
Okay.
To do
And
this thing.
You will pick the hookah up,
Mhm.
and you can feel that tingle as the magic bonds to you and the curse lays itself upon your soul.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of curse does it feel like?
You have no idea.
And I turned to Professor Bedro. I've never been cursed before. This should be interesting.
How do you feel?
Tingly.
Interesting. Interesting.
Will I keep you updated?
I want to know every little change.
All right.
I write tingly in my journal.
Let's take our first break here, and when we come back, we'll deal with Tassos and the World Eater. There we go. So, Tassos, this little broken horror god starts opening its mouth to swallow you. What do you want to do?
Sort of cock my head quizzically to the side for a moment and say, "Oh, are we playing like weird mouth fang games now? I can do that." Grabs the sort of edges of his mouth and does like the little kid making a face thing before like his lips keep stretching and his jaw keeps going down and large sharp fangs sort of start descending, modeling what this guy's doing at me.
Okay. Then I think he's going to get an attack, and then we'll have a Ransom's bird appear. Does that seem fair?
Sure, I mean rude, but sure.
All right. What is your armor class?
Terrible. 8.
8. So he is going to bite you. For 5 points of damage.
Ow.
As he draws in and you fly forward and he clamps down those teeth on you and bites into you.
Now, is that a chart thing or is that actual taken or how's
No.
this working?
He is rolling his damage straight.
Rude.
Ransom, your bird will appear and you can immediately feel your bird's brain filled with absolute panic fear as this swallower of things, this apex eater. Tassos is kind of fighting his way out of the maw, and Tassos also looks pretty freaky at this point too.
And I can see this.
Yeah.
I share the senses there.
Yes.
And I'd kind of been, I knew this was going on. I had flown up, preparing myself, thinking this was going to be a rescue escape, that we had found girl and we're going to extract her. Now I'm discovering, oh crap, we're in midst of horrible things. And so I'm going to kind of screech out to the birds around. I am calling as many birds as can hear my screech.
Okay.
And saying, follow me. And I am so, I hate losing all of my effort, but I'm going to spend my last effort as I do my Raptor's Red Plunge.
Okay.
And seeing Monster Guy through Captain Cookie, I will instantly dart next to the target, provided there is no barrier between them that cannot be flown around, which clearly it can't be because Cookie got there.
Absolutely. So shoot, you're in the room. What do you want to do?
And I have transformed back. I'll draw my cutlass, and I'm hoping that I will have birds following in to cause chaos as I look at Tassos and say, we should run.
So Tassos, let's get your reaction, and then we'll get Ransom's action resolved.
So as the horrible devouring thing comes in and bites me, I imagine it takes a chunk out of like one arm and shoulder,
Yeah.
sort of thing. Like that's good. That's bad. 5 points of damage is a lot.
Yeah, it's a he takes you have shape shifting, so he probably takes a portion of your arm, which you can shape shift it back, but
it does leave one hand free to come up while he's close enough to bite me and just touch it lightly on the temple. And as Tassos sort of stumbles back a couple steps because, ow, that hurt, there's this like streak of shadow that gets pulled out of his head and attached to Tassos's finger there. And he brings it up to his mouth and just whispers a couple of like indistinguishable words to it before he snaps his finger. And I want to create a monster of the inn.
okay. So this thing will form, pull itself
he
out.
wouldn't tell me what his fear was before, but this is some manifestation of his deepest fear.
You see this figure. It's hard to make out. It looks humanoid, but you can see it doesn't have a face. There's a mask where its face should be. And it has a hit dice. It has 2 hit dice, so it's 2 hit points. And
So
their attacks
it's
always
+2 to
successfully
attack.
hit. Yeah.
Yep.
But their attacks always successfully hit the entity they're summoned from. So why don't you do me a favor and roll 1d20.
Gladly.
Okay.
That's a 12.
That is a 12. So that will do 4 points of damage because that tops out that chart.
Nice.
So this thing hits this guy and sends him staggering backwards. He is still very much up. Ransom, what do you want to do when that happens? Toss is kind of thrown back as this figure manifests, hits him. Imagine there's still this sort of black hole where this guy's mouth is.
Oh, Lord. I'm directing, because I'm at least trying to stay on mission just a touch.
Sure.
Hopefully, if this is where Tassos was brought, maybe It's where prisoners are brought. So I tell Cookie to get out of this room. See if you could find a girl also held prisoner. Look through the little windows.
So I think that's going to be, I think you're going to put your attention to that, to do that. But I'll let you make a wisdom check to have him flood through. And potentially because this guy came down from upstairs, the doors to the place upstairs are still open.
Okay, let's see. So rolling with wisdom, and my target on that, I have an check set 8. So I need higher than an 8, I imagine.
Yeah.
Oh, die roller, be kind. That's a 1.
That is a 1. So I think that you will find her. She is upstairs, but like the birds go and try to fly, you can see that the floor upstairs is covered with those thorns and the brambles, and there's almost a sort of Sleeping Beauty style glass covered coffin that is wrapped up with these thorns, and this girl is slumbering inside of it.
Okay, that ain't gonna be able to be rapidly grabbed.
So you get the information, but it's not as helpful as you would have liked. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, and a lovely image.
I'm going to cut away from you two for just a second. So Evedro and Threadless, you are making your way back to this machine. I think there is a moment there, Threadless, as you're walking along, got this hookah, and you stop and you'll get, there's all kinds of delicious street food around here. You've been enjoying yourself on this.
Yes. Well, and I've also taken the time to clean it up. I mean, it takes me a millisecond, really.
Oh, yeah. And it's brilliant. People are looking at you because you have this beautiful hookah and stuff.
It's an antique.
Yes. And I think there is that moment when you realize what the curse is, when you take a bite of this beautiful, delicious, soft, like jam-filled steamed bun, and you bite on it and it tastes like smoke and ashes and the bottom of an ashtray.
I just pout. I know what the curse is, Professor.
Really, do tell me. Spare no detail. Go.
It makes your food taste like ashes.
Interesting.
Would you like to try it?
Oh, I'm not cursed.
Right.
So I need you to tell me what it feels like.
Feel sad.
I wonder what the others are up to right about now. You think they'll need our help?
Probably. Where are they?
Now, does this happen with every piece of food you eat, or just the especially savory or sweet pieces of food?
I don't know. Let's buy something else.
I'm
We'll keep on buying things and trying
for science.
for science.
Each bite you take tastes almost worse than the last.
Ooh, I think it's getting worse.
Is it like ashes, like a campfire type ashes? Is it ashes like
Like tobacco has burned. You know, it has that tarry. Yes.
That sounds terrible.
It's awful.
Well, no matter. Should we go finish what we were supposed to do?
Absolutely.
And the two of you will arrive back at the machine. We'll come back to you in just 1 second.
All right.
So let's do Ransom and Tassos, and then we'll do our minor broken god. So Ransom, you now have a visual. You know what the situation is there. This thing is still up and still very much intact.
Okay. And I with this information, I'm sending Cookie out to be safe. I'll just say, get out. If am I having birds start to charge like the bottom floor when I call them in to cause chaos?
I'm sure that yeah, you can command the various birds around, so they are definitely freaking out the guards downstairs.
Okay. Looking at Tassos and how injured you are, the girl, we can't get to her. We should retreat. And I look to see if you agree with that or not.
So you hold your action after your soliloquy. What do you do, Tassos?
Tassos will sort of quirk an eyebrow at Ransom and reach over to the stump of his chest where like an arm and part of him are missing and grab at the sort of viscous gunk in there and pull out the shape of a new arm, as I'm going to use my shape-shifting base thing to once a day as an instant action smooth away my wounds, healing a hit point.
Okay.
So it's like part of that attack didn't even happen. And I say, look, these two are going to be busy making faces at each other for a few minutes at least. We're not going to get another chance.
Follow me, then, and I suppose I'm going to try to, while they're distracted, get through whoever's with him and begin running up the tower to see if I can get to the girl.
Okay. So I think you are trying to get through some mob soldiers here, Tyler.
All right.
So let's have you roll to hit.
Okay. And how does hitting work as compared to a check?
So what you do is you're going to roll your base attack bonus plus a D20 plus their armor class, and their armor class is a 6.
So plus their armor class.
Yep. And you want to try and get a 21 or better total.
Okay, so I'm plus 8.
Yeah, we are on the second turn of this fight, so the escalation die is at a 1. So add another 1 to that.
Okay. Well, I still missed. I got a 6.
Okay, so you will miss. Could I have you then roll me a D8?
Okay. A D8. I think that's an 8. Yes.
An 8?
Roll it. Let's see. No, that is a D8. A 6.
A 6. So that's your fray die. Basically, anytime you're engaged and with like normal people, you roll that, and that's how much damage you do just incidentally.
Oh.
So if we look at that rule summary, an 8 means you do 2 points. So like you're swinging and you're not hitting like center mass on these people, but your shots will drop a couple of these guards just by being there.
Aha!
Tassos, you may also roll your fray die.
And my healing thing was just an instant, so I can attack.
You can also attack if you want. Yeah. Their AC is a 6.
All right. I still have the weird, like, Billy's body has gotten very strange at this point with the sort of floppy, shadowy arm that's pulled out of one side and the big distended jaws. But that's what I have for my weapon right now. Is
I'm picturing the thing.
It's all awful. But let's see. So my claws are a +2, and you said they're a 6.
Yep.
So that's 8.
+1 more, I think.
Yeah, for escalation die.
Oh, that got me to a 13.
Okay, but you may still now roll a D8 for your fray die.
Well, that's just an 8.
That is an 8. So you're not like hitting like you'd like to, but you are still cutting them down. Essentially, the elite guards aren't here. These are just the simple ones that had, picking people up. So they are falling backwards. He's going to go, and then your beast is going to go at the end of the round.
Cool.
So your beast's AC, I believe, is a 5.
It is.
It is. So let's roll. So that is that he will hit with one of those. And he tears it in half. But that eats up his whole action as he reaches over, grabs, and tears it.
As I'm running through the like crowd of guys and towards the stairs after Ransom, I may have slightly overestimated our chances of the general strength of what we brought to this fight here. So maybe run faster.
So, Ivedro, threadless. You've arrived back at this machine. You've got this beautiful hookah there with you. There are guards outside. How do you want to do this?
Is there some sort of like other people coming in and out? Is there some
No,
sort of thing that
it
goes
seems to be
associate-
a secure facility here.
I will commit effort for the scene to
Okay.
create a hole in security.
Tell me, this will get you definitely in. Tell me what that looks like. Like, what happens that gives you the opportunity to slip into this building?
I think like most of his powers, it's very it looks very boring. Like, and that's why it doesn't even occur to him that maybe he has powers, because he just looks like he belongs there.
Mm-hmm.
And he says to Threadless, "Come along," and just acts very authoritative. To the point where the guards are even pointing out the secret hidden entrance to this thing. The security is the fact that the entrance is hidden, which is why we couldn't see people coming in and out. But the guards,
And maybe not that they're
where to
pointing
go.
it out necessarily deliberately, but everything about the way they're stating and stuff is going to indicate to you, like, that's the way in.
Right. Yes. And we can just walk right through. I mean, I am holding my clipboard to take notes about the curse.
And I think the two of you will get inside. Exiting is another question going on, but you will come inside, and there is a large flat disc in the center of this with multiple circles, like kind of an astrolabe, different segments moving in different positions, like moving around. It echoes the circles of the city. You can see that there are different sort of almost gear points here. And
gears.
the
I'm pointing them
machine,
out to Evedro. I'm so excited. I love these puzzles.
I cannot wait to watch you work.
So excited.
and the machine is sort of at its hold position here.
So, and essentially it's tied to these magical items that are remote from it anyway, right? So it's really just a matter of retuning them to my hookah.
Absolutely. It is, so you want to master this magical artifact, right?
Yes, I would like to repair it, is what I am doing.
But it's not broken.
No, it is. It is not. It is.
I don't think it's broken. Technically.
It's definitely broken. No, it is technically broken if it is not working to my specs. So.
I feel like this is you having to spend influence to do this.
Okay, I will spend influence. I will whisper to it, and I will say, "I have a better way. It will be more fun. You will like it."
Then let's have you make a.
I Gotta find my influence though. There it is. I found it.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
And let's have you make that wisdom check.
So I have an 8. I have to roll over that is what
Yep.
it is. Okay. And then I hate these dice, by the way. So I'm just rolling a 1d20. Do I add
Yeah.
anything to it?
No,
I got a 5.
you got a 5. So
Unfair.
you're trying to tune the hookah to it, and right now it is not quite working. We'll come back to you. We'll give you another chance, but you have to describe a different approach.
Ah,
So
Ooh.
that's how that's going to work.
all right.
Like basically with skills, if you fail the first time, can't do it again until you come up with a different approach to the problem or a different set of tools that you're applying to it.
Okay.
The influence does not go away.
Oh, thank you.
So let's come back to this room that they brought you into with this table. The table is probably now smashed. There's the stairs going up. There's this great devouring void person, and these guards that are getting tossed down the stairs or cut down as it's going along. Ransom. Whew. Tassus has indicated that this might be a little more dangerous than he thought. What do you want to do?
Well, I mean, we've started moving up, so there's we'd have to find our way back down. I
Do you?
Well, I mean, valor. It might be a discretion is the better part of valor at this point. If you're looking worried,
Well,
then
it's just he was terrible at bantering, and I thought that indicated a lack of experience with these general sort of situations. Apparently, he's just a dick.
As you're running, I'm hearing that banter go back and forth.
so we should leave.
But to find the girl and leave.
Find the girl. Fine. And so I am charging up to try and get to that room.
Absolutely. So
Just do it quickly and without us dying.
I would like you to make a hardiness save for me, Ransom.
Hardiness save.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I would like the dice roller to go in our favor.
That would be lovely. All right. I have a 14. So I need to roll over a 14. Is that correct? Yeah. All right. Would this trigger? I don't know if it would actually.
Sure. Let's hear.
My sneaky spying where I infiltrated cities by fact.
Ooh, interesting to kind of find your way around the traps and the thorns here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we haven't had a fact come into play. I'm liking that. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so facts give what?
+4 to your roll.
+4 to roll. Okay, well, so far I don't think I've rolled above a 6. So let's see if I can do better than that this time. All right, come on. I rolled a 2.
Rolled a 2. So you are going to take some damage here.
Stands to reason. This die roller really does not like me tonight.
So 5, which means you're going to take 2 points of damage.
2 points of damage.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
You'll get up into this room, but like when you're running across the floor here, those thorns are grabbing and tearing at you. You're trying to kind of get past those, and they are pulling at you. Get over to that glass coffin. It is covered by these thorns. The light is coming in through those rose-colored windows into here and kind of basking down on that sort of that. So everything here is that sort of green thorns and red light in here. It looks like an Argento film in some ways. It's very much Suspiria kind of fantasy thing. So Tassos, Ransom goes tearing up those stairs. What do you do? Do you want to follow him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. Then I also need you to make a hardiness save when you go into that room.
As I'm running up the stairs after him, does that thorn stuff count as magical attacks?
No, I think it's mundane attacks. So do you have something that will resist the mundane stuff?
Yeah. As I start running, there's sort of a sloshing sound as his whole body starts to wobble a little bit, like his new shadow arm. And I'm going to switch over to plasmic form,
Okay.
which is immune to non-magical weapons.
Yeah. You wash over the thorns in the plasmic form. The soldiers will come running up, and they are clearly like the thorns pull away from them, and they will try and swing at you, but their blades will pass through you with that, because it ignore normal weapons, and so some of them will kind of press on up into the room to try and intercept Ransom.
Which is fair. While I'm like this, I can't do much to stop them.
Right. And from where you're at, kind of at the top of those stairs looking in, these soldiers are moving past, trying to get at Ransom. You'll see his mouth now kind of pushed up and closed. You will see your friend, and I use that term loosely, Abdralhim kind of step out of that door, out of that room that you were just in, kind of looks up the staircase at you, and he says, "What precisely are you?"
Very annoyed that you're bad at doing this. You're very bad at doing this. There was supposed to be a lot more back and forth. There was a whole tete-a-tete and like wandering around your prisoner while you expounded upon your entire scheme. It's just, it was done terribly.
They told me ones like you would be coming. And he kind of starts walking up those steps. And when he walks up those steps, you kind of hear the stone of the steps starting to kind of creak, like he's getting heavier as he walks up. He says, you're soft now. You'll be like a cool drink.
I would like to be away from him. Laying that out there.
Let's Ransom. Let's do another round of this, and then we'll come back to the machine lab. Ransom, how do you propose to free this young woman from this coffin?
Okay. I suppose the first, do I see any mechanism on it to open it? There's the first thing.
It does look like if you get the thorns off of it, I mean, it does just lift off of it.
Oh, so it's really the thorns wrapped around it that are going to be my big problem. Well, I think all I can do is cut them. I'm going to, my scimitar is out, or my cutlass is out, and it shall cut. Okay.
I don't think you have to roll to hit.
Yay.
But you do roll your damage.
The way I'm rolling, I still might miss.
So you're rolling your cutlass, which is a D8 for and plus your strength bonus.
Okay.
So a D8 plus 1.
I got a 9.
Got a 9. So that will be 4 points. Tell me what that looks like, because that is a freaking heavy slash. That's a slash that would cut down 4 normal people.
Oh, then I think that there is kind of me looking it over, and you see me get kind of pissed at this. And I think that we get this big overhead swing and then just kind of bringing it down the side of this thing.
Absolutely. And we see sparks. Like there shouldn't be sparks, but there's sparks, and we see you slash through those thorns. Roll me another d8 for your fray die, because these are the guards that just get caught in your backswing.
All righty. Well, I rolled another 8.
So like 2 guards come running up to try and stop you as you're doing that, and you don't even see them. Just a swing from cutting those vines drops 2 of them. The more red in the room, splattered on the wall as they do that. Tassos. Ransom has slashed these thorns. There are still a bunch of guards in here. You're in plasmic form, and Abdralhim is slowly walking up the stairs towards you. Stalking, one might even say.
I would like to go splashing through some guards and solidify along the way to help get him to help when I get there to help him lift that coffin and head towards a window or some such.
Absolutely. So you'll become solid. As you splash through, you may roll your fray die because you become physical.
This thing's real good at rolling 8s. It's another 8.
Okay. Yeah. So at this point, you've cut down half the guards that were there. The guards are going to go. They are going to try, because they couldn't hit you, Tassos. They are going to try and overwhelm Ransom. Ransom, could you make a hardiness save?
Yes.
They throw themselves at you, trying to bring you down. A group of guards can do this. It's called an overwhelm.
Well, all right. I rolled a 2.
You rolled a 2, so they will smash into you. And they actually do 6 points of damage as they knock you down.
Jeez Louise.
They drive you back away from the coffin, push you and knock you down, probably rolling around in those thorns, and they're over you.
I have 1 hit point left.
But Tassos, you can get that lid off of that coffin if you want.
Yeah, I will pull it off, and is there hopefully a young girl inside? That'd be nice.
Yeah, you open it up, and there's a young girl in there who's in her nightmare slumbering.
Oh,
and
so cute when they're terrified.
You look back and you see Abdralhim is standing at the doorway, the way you have to pass to go back down the stairs and go out, and he is just standing there and waiting.
Not if this room has windows.
We'll come back to you in just one moment. So Evedro and Threadless, it's not quite clicking like you hoped it would. There's a little bit of a time thing here before the guards maybe, if someone comes back and notices you. How do you want to change up what you're doing? So quiet.
I think that actually this would probably work best if I just embed this here. Could you make me a seal? One that, in order to actually, how should we say, flip the switch on this, they would have to, how should we say, break the seal, the one that has the promise that they accept the doom on it. It can be in a very obscure script. I care not.
Sure.
You heard what that guy said, right? Same sort of pledge. That by breaking that seal, you accept your doom.
So
Oh,
you want to make this cursed object a lock on the
Yes.
device.
so you want me to, but I'm not cursed. Don't you have to gift it to the machine?
No, I will do that by putting it on the thing so that the only way to, how should we say, use the device is to break the seal, but I need you to write it.
Oh, I see. Right, because
You can put something in obscure script,
I'm a good writer.
plus
Right.
you can spell.
If you should break this seal, never again will you feel the lovely tastes, savory and sweet. Everything shall taste like feet. How was that?
It's good.
I mean, it's not my best work, but
Well,
I only wish Tintefa had been here.
to spur
hear
you
it.
on. I like it.
So this feels like a miracle.
Oh, yes. Oh, hers or mine?
Your miracle there, Professor Vedro, to get this set.
Right.
Essentially, what you're doing is you're locking this in there. The curse is still on threadless, but in order for someone to get and actually activate or use the machine, this device would stand in the way, prevent that until somebody voluntarily takes that curse on themselves. So let's have you spend influence, and let's have you make an intelligence check.
Love it. This is the die roller that's doing really well for us, right?
It's this die roller is certainly unfriendly today.
Making an intelligence check means I need to beat a 3.
Yes,
I think I can do that.
I'm not going to say the words.
Out loud. I rolled a 15.
Okay, so tell me what that looks like. Like, what do we see? We certainly see Threadless put the hookah down on the device, and then what do we see from your magics, your powers, Professor?
I think my thing is kind of binding it to it. Is that
Yeah.
what I see? And because I think I end up using, it's a miracle based on the sun. And so elements of the copper and brass hookah start to kind of, we start to see the seams shimmer with sunlight a little bit, and it becomes a bright light emerges from its base where Threadless has set it down, and it kind of fuses in with one of the gears and cogs that's moving in the machine.
It looks like an artifact. This doofus will definitely want to be the one who possesses it.
Yes, so that will lock into place, and you can feel like no one's going to be able to activate or control this with their remote devices. This has created a blockage in it and locked up this machine. Meanwhile, back at the Rose Garden,
Where
Ransom,
they are, I say.
you see Tassas has thrown the lid off from where you cut the thorns free, has a hold of this girl. You'll see Abdrahim in the doorway watching you. There are still these guards around. Blood is flowing off of you. You notice that the thorns just drink up that blood.
Okay. We gotta go. And I've managed to roll away from the guards.
Oh, yeah,
Nobody's on top of me.
Right.
Okay. I draw my pistol and I shoot out a window.
Not a problem. I'm not even going to make you roll the damage for it because this roller hates you guys.
Oh.
You
I
let
hit the
loose
sill and
it goes back and hits you in the eye.
Oh,
Oh.
God. Oh,
Abdralheim sprung for the shadow resistant class. Oh, guys.
And I think I have an idea that Tassos is liquid enough that he could survive jumping out this window.
Well, I'd be fine. It's just, you know, the human.
As I say, give her to me, and as I trying to push us both towards the window, and as he hands her to me, I jump out the window and transform into an eagle.
Okay.
Now, they can't lift a whole goat, but they are recorded as being able to do a controlled glide with a whole goat in their claws down from a cliff.
Okay, let's have you make an evasion save.
All right. Okay. Oops, I don't want to do that. That's what yeah, maybe I do want to do that. Hang on. I'll roll it a different way. Maybe that'll be better. 19? That's fantastic.
Yeah, tell me what that looks like. Like you grab a hold of her, and it's a fantasy world. So this eagle is even bigger than a usual eagle. It's like the great golden condor vulture eagle.
Then as I leap out with her kind of, tucked, pulling her, that's when I kind of drop her for a moment. As my arms spread out, I turn into this massive eagle, catching her with my talons, hopefully not piercing her. And I begin this swirl down the tower, my wings flapping in the breeze as I am attempting to curl and head towards the docks.
And I imagine that as you get maybe close to the ground, that we see those birds come flying out, such that you're probably in a flock of birds, so that people can't even see you as you over and you're heading down. You're probably not going to get all the way to the docks, but there's the thing, we're going to be able to vanish and kind of keep running even as you transform and are rushing her through the streets. Tassos, you hear him go, interesting.
I don't know how to properly express how disappointed by this entire situation I am. I have to say, I'm not going to recommend this to anyone that I know. And really, I think you have a lot of soul searching and an internal improvement to do. He'll say as they're walking backwards towards the window, and by the time he gets to the window, just liquid.
He lifts his finger before you go, and he says, I have tasted you, and I will know where you are from now on. Farewell, Tassos.
You're scared of douchebags and masks! Just, we have the grace of the eagle and all that. It's just like a straight plummet to the ground where he splashes in this big puddle.
I think we cut from there to the four of you together down at the docks where Mr. Butters has brought the vessel in, waiting for you all, and you can grab aboard. Vedro and Threadless, as you were heading through the city, you could definitely tell that something had happened, and guards were out on the streets, and security was heightened, and you would have heard rumors of some sort of weird bird attack at the Holy Tower, and any number of innocents cut down by these demonic intruders.
I'm like, they must be looking for the hookah, obviously. That was clearly
They'll find it. All we got to do is wake up the serpent, and then they'll.
I feel like Threadless, you and I did really good work on this.
It felt satisfying, but I'm hoping that someone will take control of that thing soon. He sort of looks sadly at all the food stalls as walk by, just not appealing.
I think you all will get back to the boat. You'll see Ransom is bandaged and bloodied.
Oh. Does it seem like everything's okay? Like we all settled in and everything? I can heal them.
Yeah, you can heal an instant. Of course, if you just wait a bit. Essentially, it's a simple rest for Ransom to recover all that HP. Same thing for
Really?
Tassos. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're Godbound. If you're not in a fight, you heal fast.
Okay. So that's okay.
Yeah. In combat, healing is hard, and that's one of the things that you can do.
Okay. It's too bad I wasn't there with you, I say.
Yeah, I imagine when I first got there, I would have taken the girl to our young friend and the lady that brought them to care for her.
Down there with you, I think.
Yeah, you probably would catch up pretty quick. Well, we have the girl. What do we wish to leave? I believe that was our mission.
Oh, okay. You guys feel done with this? I'm good with it.
I have to say, I feel like Abdurrahim does not feel done with, us. This whole, it was a very awkward situation. We made him look bad in front of the help. Also, he has a lot of teeth, like an unexpected number of teeth, an uncomfortable amount of teeth for one person to have.
You're saying a lot of words, and it is not telling me a great deal.
He is definitely not human.
Well,
And
no.
shake my floppy shadow arm at you. He ate half my chest.
Ew. But it looks better now.
Thank you, I tried.
So he needs to be brought down. So are we doing it now?
We could. I would suggest that we once again get our non-combatants away if we're going to go.
All right, let's do it.
Professor, do you happen to... His magics are very personal. I don't know a great deal about magics, but he did not seem like your run-of-the-mill practitioner.
Are you asking where I think he might have gotten his power from, or
what he is?
Oh. Let me think about it. I have one more effort, and I'm going to use the unveiled truth to get an answer to any question.
Okay.
Tassos will describe those tattoos that he was showing as well, the thorn and rose tattoos.
And so I ask to myself in my head, what is Abdurrahim?
He is a little parasite god put into a human body by some sort of third party intending to sow chaos. A dark, corrupted figure of the earth.
Oh, that's why he didn't take the boy. Because he's already...
He wasn't, well, he didn't see the boy. That's why he didn't kill the girl.
Well, okay.
I assume that in order to maintain the parasite god, he needed to eat of magic.
Yep.
Hmm.
So as I convey this, I suggest to my friends that in order to better understand this third party that is intending to sow chaos and maybe working to sow chaos elsewhere in our world, that I need to go to the second greatest library in all the land in order to do a bit of research to understand who this third party is, if that is the direction that we want to take our story.
Yes,
I'm
let's go and power up.
Is there something wrong with the best library? I'm just saying it.
I'm
For people on a quest, and it seems like
I may not be allowed in that library.
and
Oh, I see.
So is Tentefa coming with us? We're going to the second best library.
That is entirely up to you whether you went back to the tobacconist and got him, or if you left him behind.
Would
I know what
do that.
Professor Evedro did. I'm just curious what Threadless did.
Yes, I would definitely go back.
I'm terribly interested in the impact of such an environment on such a fragile soul. So
Let me just to clarify what you said here. Some great dark horrible thing put some sort of little god inside of him.
Right.
Now, are we saying we're leaving to find out about the big dark god and leaving the godling, god-ish inside of this guy? Or are we going to go and take care of him before we go and learn about the bigger problem?
Well, Threadless kind of set a trap for him. So I feel like we'll at least be able to buy ourselves a bit of time if we want to have a better understanding of the larger threat facing our world.
My work traps. If my trap works, you'll be in a very bad mood when we get back.
Right.
Let me tell you, bad mood.
All the magic people that he will eat will just taste like feet. So.
Yeah. All right then. Well, then let's set sail.
Let's take 5, and then we'll continue on to kind of get the little end teaser for tonight. Okay.
Okay.
So tell me, Sherry,
Mhm.
this Assassin's Library with this vast collection of wanted posters, but also the second greatest library on the islands, in the archipelago. Like, how is it that this, I mean, it's a singular location. How is it that they've managed to, avoid being raided or taken over or attacked by other governments? How has that happened?
Because the entire island is essentially an elaborate set of traps for anyone who doesn't go through the invitations of the assassins themselves. You have to come and apply and have your reason, and they will let you in. But it's said that the traps, all of those plans are also inside the library. So if you want to take them. So yes, no one can actually get to the island, get on the island.
Get to the library, let's say.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me, Tassos, what is the city that's on the island sort of outside of that library like? Is it a pirate city? Is it?
Yeah, I was going to say it's the assassin library on an island that half of it is like trapped to be just unnecessarily deadly. Like this has to be like down in the bay of the island, like a pirate haven city. Lots of like very half-done old falling down construction, very nice boats always sitting out in the water there, lots of movement in and out, loud nightlife.
Skulls carved in places, things sunken. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
real classic. Ransom, who do you know here in this city?
Ooh. I think I know Captain Penelope the Perilous. She is someone that I've worked with and against over the many decades. But a brilliant pirate, known primarily for her skills at being able to sneak up to a ship. False colors, using the horizon, solid with the breeze, all of these things are in her arsenal. And she is able to get to her prey and then spring the trap.
Excellent. And the name of this island and this city is Bashala. Get that. I've got a little red triangle for it here on the map. Get this text thing down to a reasonable size. Put the A. Oh, I see. A. Come on. Text. There we go. Oh, Bashala. It's the long A of Arabic, Bashala. So we will see then your ship sailing down south towards Bashala. We can, like, we probably get that sort of layover where we can kind of see the island in the distance. But let's do some interactions here on the ship as you're traveling. Particularly, I know Tassos wanted to talk to the boy, and then maybe we can do some other PC interactions here. So Tassos, when his sister is returned to him, there is that thing where they have sort of whispered conversations, maybe in a language you can't quite understand, that they both clearly know. You know, and then the boy kind of you know, reassures her, and then kind of looks at you because he knows that you have questions for him.
Are you done wailing now?
Wasn't wailing.
We're very loud.
He looks a little braver now that his sister is there, and kind of pulls himself together, doesn't say anything, waits for you.
So, hello, my name is Tassos. It's nice to meet you, boy.
I am Dalak.
And I feel, having carried you out a window, perhaps I should know your name too.
I'm just Dala.
Hello, it's lovely to meet you. I'm sorry it was under such horrible monster godling kidnapping and feeding off your energy or soul bits or something. That seems not good. So What do you know about Abdralim and what he was looking for in you?
I don't know, but he was like the woods. A smaller version of it. Smaller version of things that we saw.
It's both of you. Ah, perfect. Then you should rest, both of you. And he'll reach out and touch their foreheads and put them to sleep.
They fall backwards.
And it's, I don't know if it's a miracle or just sort of stretching the like dream control power, but he makes this shared dream between the two of them and Tassos them. Okay. As Tassos takes them back to that memory, the same woods, both of you at the same place, and walks them through it, but leeching all of the fear for the situation out of them, and sort of trying to get the kids to like storybook him through the encounter, whatever happened.
And I think you will get more of the pieces, more of the vision. The uncle who took care of them after their parents died, walking them out into the woods, and you've taken away their fear. So, you know, as they're looking at their uncle, they're not worried about the axe that he's brought with him. And then it gets very abstract. There, where the woods gets dark, where they get lost, and their uncle is looking for them, and then there are the cries of their uncle, and they come upon, they can't even quite, is it a person? Is it a force? Is it a thing? It's unclear. But you get that same sort of radiant, that same sort of dark, corrupted nature that you felt from Abdrahim, but like it's in the same constellation of things, but not the same. And he takes the children and he gives them food. I say he, but it's maybe they, maybe she, it's hard to say, but gives them food, and then makes them eat an apple seed or a fruit seed or something, or a pomegranate seed. And says to them that I will always be with you. And someday this seed will bloom.
And I think as that figure starts interacting with the children, like Tassos sort of, he forgets a bit about the children. He's looking at this like unresolved, undetailed form that they can't quite, you know, convey in their dreams. And Tassos is like drawn in on them, like trying to inhale them, trying to feel them, just obsessing over this thing that they can't quite touch or understand.
And I think it will resolve for a second, and you see this figure with this wooden mask and these boughs coming off of it, and it looks down at you and it says, "The agents of the hour are coming for you." And then you're out of that dream.
They're definitely staying with us. They have to stay with us. Money.
Ransom, let's we haven't really had an interaction between you and Threadless. So let's do a scene with that, and then let's have Evedro, or probably at this point at night, or Devi call a scene. Sound good?
Excellent. Threadless, I imagine that I'm making sure we have all sails set and making best speed.
Yes. And every day I get up there, and wherever they have started to war or pull at the grommets or, do that thing, she just does these little stitches, but always in some color other than the sails are they begin with. And you can kind of start to see that around all the edges and where the ropes push against them and stuff, that slowly your sails are turning a different color.
Turning red. I see. So are we up in the rigging? Do we think we're on deck?
Oh, I think if you were on deck, she'd probably jump down to join you.
All right. Threadless, I honestly am a little surprised you were willing to leave the city before we had brought down this monster.
He's not a king. He's just another abusive person. But I think we can do, a 3-4 when we get back.
I'm curious. If we discover that these were popular kings who say their people loved and who were taking care of them, only that they had been corrupted by this monster, this aberration.
Being as kings are particularly corruptible, yes.
Are you angry at the position of king? Are you angry at the abuse?
Well, the abuse. If we could bind them to the oath to their people again, I would have no problem with that. But that is usually what is left behind first, isn't it? That is what I've been told. I wouldn't know, actually. It's all theoretical. We can try it out.
In my travels, I've been to many kingdoms, and some kings were just fine, some were half-wits, and some were downright terrible. But the truth is, Threadless, they're just men and women. You take down that king, you lift them from their throne, invariably someone else will be in charge.
Truth?
Therefore, I don't want you to be disappointed in your travels, to feel that you're not really getting to maybe the heart of your anger.
Well, she sort of stops and goes, I didn't actually look at it as anger so much as just a sort of practical set of actions one takes in order to get rid of things that are a nuisance and a danger to the people around them. Incompetent rulers, for instance. You can just kill them over and over again until someone competent takes up. Which means, right?
That is a dangerous quest, but I'll be honest, it would be entertaining, and I personally do despise anyone who would oppress their people.
So there are kings that have oaths to their people, but there are also kings that used to have oaths to gods, right? Did the gods act?
I think we would have to ask our friend the professor more of that. I do know in the stories that have been told of the gods being active, that they were said to smite kingdoms that displease them. There's always the story of the kingdoms that sink beneath the sea.
See, that's what I like to hear. A tradition for my own personal philosophy.
Well, I'm more than happy for us to travel together and to help you however I can. But
Don't worry, you aren't obligated to go along on all my king killing.
beware that it can sometimes slide rather dark when you think that killing is going to always be your answer.
Yeah, maybe I should call it binding.
We'll be going to a place here which has no king, but many, many lords.
All right.
Quite a few of them are truly terrible people.
But they're matched by other ones, right? So they can't turn all of their energy upon the helpless, since they have to protect themselves from the others like them. That at least cuts their attention.
I need to have faith that you're not going to strike out on your own, killing.
I haven't killed anyone yet. I have not even established a pattern.
This is true, and sadly, I've perhaps killed just in the last few days.
Oh, see? I usually don't go straight to it. Make sure I have a good shot first. Don't worry, I won't make a mess of things.
I'm sure you won't. And I'll sort of turn back and stare at the horizon with that.
Or Devi, let's do a scene with you. Who do you want to interact with? Should we? If you want to talk to the captain, want to talk to Tassos?
Yeah, let's talk to Tassos. I think Ordevi's curiosity is now combined with a certain amount of compassion, which is noticeably absent during the day. And I am aware that he was gravely, I mean, both of them were gravely injured. But I'm curious about, but my curiosity is having one's arm ripped off. So I approach Tassos after I notice they've withdrawn from observing the nightmares. And I ask if you've ever had that experience before of being damaged in that way.
It is, I'd like to say it was the first time I've had an arm ripped off, but it's not. There is a price to embodying what people fear most. Some fear and they run, some fear and they acquiesce, but a lot of people attack on instinct. It's led to a lot of unpleasant situations.
How do you feel your recovery is going?
Oh, it'll be fine. It's not the same since I was in my teens. I remember pain, injury. I know what they are, but that's not what I experience anymore. It's something different that is entirely unpleasant, but in a very different way. And there's less of a core spark. There's no intrinsic worry that this experience of being damaged is linked to my life or continued existence. They're two separate facts.
Is it almost like it's happening to someone else?
A little bit.
Well, I do hope I'm present the next time it happens.
I will try to notify you.
Excellent. That would be good. I mean, I want to be there because I'm interested, but I also feel like maybe I could help too. But mostly because I'm interested.
Helping would be appreciated.
I wonder if next time we go up against such a large foe, we should stick together. Maybe you and Ransom would not have suffered as you did.
I will admit there may have been some detailed points of the plan that we didn't quite get to beforehand.
I have to admit, I was quite pleased with my seal, but at the end, I do feel like it was not as much of a contribution as maybe I could have made.
Oh, I don't know. He didn't seem like the type that could really take a joke. I imagine it's had quite an effect.
That's fair. When we go into this library, you will have an opportunity to study fear, maybe in a way that you have not gotten to experience before. I think the Assassin's Library makes a study of fear as it is an important tool to the assassin.
It does sound intriguing. I have to say I'm surprised that, well, assassins you generally think of as being secretive and not having mailing addresses, advertisements.
It's a strange library.
It's an interesting monument to the fear that they've created in the populace.
Right. I warn you only because we don't know each other well, but I know that you might actually, since you have such a keen interest and attunement to it, it might be overwhelming for you.
I will admit to having had some problems in libraries before. Places where important or valuable things are kept tend to be filled with people who are fairly afraid of what might happen to those things. And, well, then it happens. It's a lot of fires.
Oh, I fear you will find much worse in the Library of the Assassin's Guild.
I think that's our end line for the scene. You are all going to get 4 experience points, which means that you go up a level. You will get one dominion for your successful works. And note that we're not doing sort of the required Dominion to XP system that I have in the book. But what Dominion is a resource that you can spend to enact permanent changes in places using your influence. So everybody gets 1 point of Dominion. Let me tell you what you get when you go up a level. First, if you change your level to 2 on your thing, that should automatically increase things for you, a lot of the filled stuff. What it means is you're going to get your attack bonus is going to increase by 1. You'll notice that your maximum hit points are going to increase by 4 plus half of your con modifier, rounded up. Your maximum effort and influence both increase by 1. You'll notice that your saving throws have gone down by 1. Now, here are the choices that you get to make. You get to add a new fact to your character based on your adventures. You can either do it based on what just happened or on if you want to add in some previous things. And these can be whatever you want. So think about the kinds of things you do and maybe a good fact that would help you with those kinds of things. And then the other thing you do is you get 2 more points to spend on gifts. Lesser gifts cost 1 point. Greater gifts cost 2. You can buy lesser gifts from other words for 2 points, but that's a loser's game. Just going to tell you that right now. However, for 3 points, if you save up your points, you can get access to a new word.
And when
that
you
was
get
3
access
points.
to a new word, do you get like a lesser gift out of it or nothing?
No, you do get the base effect for whatever that word is.
Okay.
So if, for example, you were to save from this level, and then when you went up the next level, you'd have 4 points, you could buy a new word and then buy a gift. But right now you've got 2 points to spend. Every level, you're going to get 2 more points to spend on gifts.
And it's 3 points for a new word.
Yep. So you'd have to hang on to those points. I mean, and there's so many delicious things.
So, Lowell, I have a question.
Yeah.
Did I get my taste back? Did he break the seal?
Not yet.
Go ahead, sure.
No, I just should have asked, can we swing around the thing so we can wake up the serpent?
You'll have the opportunity to do that.
I do think I've named the ship.
What is the
So
ship's
we're just
name?
Calling it ship. The Sea Wing.
The Sea Wing.
Nice.
Nice.
Soon they'll call it the Red Sea Wing.
Anybody have questions about any of that leveling up stuff? And we'll check in on gifts beginning of next session. Would you mind doing a quick stars and wishes? Let's see. Threadless, we started with you in the advanced, like start a session order. So stars, wishes.
Let's see here. This was kind of fun. It's I like pairing up with people and getting to go off and do something. I enjoyed the cursed hijinks and all of that. That was good fun. Though I did feel guilty because we weren't there to take a stand against the bad guy, but you know, I thought that they were just going to do a little smash and grab, not a stop and chat. So that was me misunderstanding the program. And these things happen. But it was good to see everyone survived. We all got a taste of the mechanics, and they are unpleasant. And yes, so when your dice are off, it can be very sad. The escalation dice is a kindness, but actually, if you're doing as badly as we were right there, you really can't last.
Yeah, the
through too many
escalation die
rounds.
was it could be nobody
Super not
savior
helping.
today.
No. So yeah. But again, I love this game for, I guess, like, I know it's OSR, but the thing I like about it is the richness of the potential of all the stuff you've picked. So it gives you that sort of, not only are you able to do kind of super fun stuff, but you're also always anticipating other amazing things you can do. And that is a very good feeling all the way through a game. So I guess that's my bigs. It was fun. I'm looking forward to the library. This sounds good.
Ivedro.
Yeah, this was great. This was a lot of fun. I am loving playing this character. I'm finding it very cathartic and entertaining. Sherry, I was in exactly the same boat. I was like, okay, we're all kind of working towards this kind of big denouement. They're going to do their thing and disrupt stuff. We're going to do our thing and disrupt stuff. And we were like 10 steps behind. And it was a little frustrating, but I really enjoyed the entire process of it. I loved going into the other neighborhood. I love setting up Tintefa for dealing with his anxieties. It was great. So I loved all of that. It was fascinating to compare our sort of comedy duo bit with sort of just the devastation that was happening in the Thorn Room. Like that was this amazing pairing of scenes. So that was great. I would like Ivedro to try combat. I would like to get involved in that mess next time if possible. I'm excited about this library. And I wonder if this is going to be like a dungeon delve, almost like there's going to be stuff for us to explore in the depths of the library. That's it.
Awesome. There definitely is. I have used the random court generator from Godbound to generate a court for the holding there. So
that's great.
Ransom. Oh yeah, Sherry.
Sorry, can we show up and there's a fancy assassin event going on?
Fancy
assassin's prom.
Assassin's.
Yeah. Or a dress ball or a masquerade, something like that would be hilarious.
So some sort of meeting or event or gathering. Okay.
Yeah, not a meeting. Meetings are boring. We want something
some
with
sort
music.
of soiree, some sort of assassin soiree. Okay. Tyler, Ransom.
Yes. I thought this was excellent and really interesting to see the two things. I'm curious, Lowell, because Patrick and I had abysmal rolls. Was there like a snatch and grab that would have been possible? Because we rolled so badly, we really kicked over every bit of this anthill.
I think if you had good rolls, maybe earlier on, maybe the situation wouldn't have necessarily gotten as dire right away. But it was one of those things where one person went in and the big bad is in there, and the big bad's purpose is to eat people like the person that's gone in.
Yeah.
So that was a little challenging there. Your choice of approach was interesting and got you in, but it also put you right in the crosshairs.
Well, it was fantastically interesting. I was really glad to see the combat system and see how that's done. I'm growing more fond of this system. I think it's a pretty interesting system, and I think I'm starting to grok it a little bit, which makes me happy. I thought everybody was so hilarious except me. I was deadly serious, but y'all were awesome. Y'all were a hoot and a holler. Patrick, I was trying to be a you person comment just killed me. Oh my God, it was hilarious. The whole cursed hookah scene with how y'all dealt with that merchant was gold. And then, Dan, you're taking notes, getting the description, sharing how you're talking about what. Fantastic. It was so fun to watch the back and forth. It was a ton of fun. All of y'all were really, 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 really funny. Wishes. I kind of am looking forward to dealing or meeting up with the pirates of the town, at least somewhat my people sort of thing. And I agree with Dan. I'm extremely interested in a library that is more than just, like check a book out. I'm looking forward to a bit of a creepiness to an assassin library.
Gormengastian is the term that I'm going to use to describe how I'm imagining the library at this point.
Okay, very interesting. All righty, but yeah, I think that's my wishes, and I would, I am looking forward to doing some in the water things, but I don't know if that comes up here. But when we get back, I look forward to talking to a sea serpent. That's going to be a blast.
Yeah, because you can.
Okay.
And Tassos.
I love this whole session. This is great. I really enjoyed the cursed hookah storyline as well. I enjoyed Ivedro. I thought was just being amazing with the note taking and his disinterested scientist point of view, the stuff with the other professor, and especially for throwing out spontaneous doggerel to make a taste of foot spell was just amazing. Sherry, I believe in you, and you will get to the point where you can fix unbroken things just because they anger you.
Oh, it's so annoying. I actually might take the ability that tells me what things are, though. I'm sure there's one.
No. Just keep breaking them and make them into what you need them to be.
Exactly. What I need is more sledgehammers.
Tyler, I really enjoyed the stuff with Captain Cookie and how you inserted yourself in the scene through that, and the awkward sort of bird flight afterwards, and for spurring the thorn trap, so I got to walk through without getting damaged. I really enjoyed that. But particular, I want to make it clear, I built this character with as much limited control and knowledge of the system as I had to go out there and take hits and take damage. So as a star, I am really happy that our scene went the way it did, that I got the chance to take a hit like that, be the person who could sort of spring the trap. I thought that was a really great first encounter with someone that made him scary, but more understandable in a way that we could approach it better next time.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a really good way for the story beats to play out there. As far as wishes, I wasn't expecting it, but I am now very much looking forward to the masquerade ball that's happening in the Assassin's Library. I didn't know I needed this until I heard it, and then it's very obvious that this is what I need out of life. I'll have to look into the book more, but I have not thus far really understood influence or what it does, and I'd like to understand that. And
yeah, let's talk about that next time. It's actually pretty easy. The most important thing to think about influence is you can put a point of influence in to like I want this village to be prosperous now, or I want this building to not be as ruined. You're using your words to kind of abstractly reshape the world using your powers.
Could I invest influence in the siblings?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I want to
And-
do that. I want to play
Yeah,
around
and
with what that would
we'll
be.
talk about that. What you want to have them do, like cure them of your fears and make them stronger for that, or make them, vessels of fear. I mean, those are things. You use your words and you get to kind of abstractly kind of come up with what they do. And the difference between influence and dominion is influence, you put those points in, and while they're there, it happens. Like, I'm going to use my influence to strengthen their will for this time. When you take it away, eventually that will kind of fade, or the prosperity will fade over time. If you put dominion in, that's permanent, and they will permanently be. Like if you put that into a city, point of dominion, and basically like that would, like, you could make a neighborhood or two just be super prosperous for the rest of time.
Okay. I will think on that more.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more play with influence, especially since like we have 3 to spend
Yeah.
at once right now. Like we have a bunch to throw around.
Yep.
And I do
It
think
seems like
finding a way to
luxury.
invest. I know, right? There's so much. But I think finding a way to invest it and like start changing the siblings would be really interesting.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much. I'm going to stop the recording.